This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another action-packed edition of the Only Friends podcast. We have Melissa back, so you know what that means. Football Wednesdays, baby!
Yeah! Let's talk about our waivers that we got. You pick up anybody good?
Waiver
Wire Wednesday.
Don't waver on me.
You didn't come prepared? I thought you were managing like 10 teams this year.
You pick up Jeff Wilson?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get Tyler Boyd?
I have him fourth.
Look, Melissa, even you know that Wilson was a sucker's pickup. Everyone knows that Debo's going to get the bulk of the carries.
Yeah.
I have Debo.
Very good for Debo.
Yeah.
Very, very good for Debo. Just kidding. Joke bet. We are not going to be talking about football today. We got out of our systems yesterday.
We're talking about the Pirates. Go for that 4-game sweep in Cincinnati. Okay, I'm done.
You're not done. You have a bet and you're excited about it.
I am.
You needed this.
Need it bad.
What do you need now? 8 of the remaining.
If they hold on here to win 6-3, I'll need 5 more games.
Of the
5 more
remaining
wins.
20?
It's around there, yeah.
Sweat.
Should get it done.
I really hope it comes down to the last game. I really do.
They're bad enough that it could. Actually, you don't want to hope that for Lamanna because I'm pretty sure that they have nothing but playoff contenders
I think
down the stretch.
I think I want them to
I can't believe that
win the
actually
bet.
started a Pirates conversation.
wait. Last thing I'll say is I want to win the bet and then have them lose out. That way I get a good price next year for the bet again.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Back to poker.
Sure. And draft picks. Very important.
Oh, of course.
In the
right.
MLB.
Yeah. They are.
Welcome back, Melissa.
Should have just told me to stay home today.
I mean, this is just one long troll. We actually have nothing sports related to talk about. We do have some news from Brian and I's hometown. Hometown adjacent. So yesterday in Delmont, PA, a man went crazy. And Delmont is about 10 miles from where we grew up. It's actually the neighboring town to Pat McAfee's hometown of Plum. It's within that Plum Borough-esque area.
Westmoreland County.
Yeah, Westmoreland County. Shout out to everybody back home. This man has seemed to have lost his mind. So according to the article, it appears that an armed man in a rainbow wig who was trying to, quote unquote, restore Trump as president was arrested at a Dairy Queen yesterday in Delmont County, or Delmont Borough. The wigged man reportedly told police that he talks with God and is a prophet whose sole mission is to restore Trump to presidency. He also went on to say that the people at Dairy Queen would vouch for him, and the manager said outside of him leaving a tip earlier in the day of $120 with the disclaimer of "this is for all the non-Democrats," they had no idea who he was. So it turned out that he was armed to the gills, relatively speaking. He had a handgun on him when he was in the Dairy Queen ranting and raving. He also was found to have 2 other pistols in his car, a .22 and a 5mm, I believe. No, is that right? 9mm. Sorry.
I don't think there's a 5mm.
I was thinking measurements. But so yeah, he was found to have 2 more guns in the car. But this is strange. I imagine this is big news back home.
Oh yeah.
This certainly isn't national news by any stretch. I mean, it's kind of a blip on the radar, and insane people do insane things all the time. But I imagine back home in a town of 5,000 to 8,000, this is headline shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sure we have our fair amount of crazies, but the closer you get to Pittsburgh, the more blue leaning it is. Right. So like where we're from, we're probably far enough out in the outskirts that it's pretty close to 50-50, maybe even leaning slight red.
Armstrong is heavily red.
Yeah, but like we border Armstrong, Westmoreland. Maybe Westmoreland's also heavy red. I would guess less.
No, I think Westmoreland is, it's probably 50-50 or maybe blue.
Yeah.
Allegheny County is blue.
Right, correct.
And then as the more rural you get.
Right. So it's like we're the first town that like literally you cross a bridge and you go from Westmoreland County to Armstrong County.
Right.
So we're like kind of that first town. But, you know, you go neighboring over to Apollo, it's like there's a Democrat in that entire town. So we are kind of just like far enough removed where I could see it, growing up, we weren't, it wasn't polarizing at all. Like, I don't remember as a kid having any stigma attached to Republican or Democrat or picking sides or anything like that. Like, you know, as a young person, I just leaned into my influences. So, like guys like Paul Shoddy, who were a little bit more political, would speak about being liberal and Democrat and stuff like that. It was like, well, that seems like the right team to be on. You know, like I guess that's what people do around here. You know, same thing with like religion. It was cool to be Catholic. It was cool to be Italian. Like those were the most common folk where we grew up, I guess. But I imagine in the last 10 years or so, it's probably gotten a lot more divisive.
Yeah. Well, the whole country has. But that's like
right,
microcosm.
Yeah,
of
you
the
see
whole
it.
thing.
You see it whenever it's a town of 2,100, and a lot of the undertones become overtones, where it was like this is kind of stuff that goes unspoken or only spoken amongst close family and friends. Now all of a sudden becomes like a badge of honor. So yeah, it seems like this man lost his mind. I'm not sure what the rainbow wig's all about. A lot of contradictions here.
He was pretending to be undercover, so that makes sense.
That is true. It does say that the first thing he said was that he was an undercover agent for the state police on a drug sting, which a little sus given that you're ordering a Blizzard at noon on a Friday in the Dairy Queen. You know, I mean, I'm not so sure that this is part of protocol, but
stop for a, all undercovers stop for a snack.
A little snack.
You know,
what was the major drug sting that required a 61-year-old man to wear a rainbow wig? Circus convention.
It was meth and poppers.
Almost certainly meth.
Yeah, honestly, he was just trying to get into the circus.
Almost certainly meth. There was a major meth lab explosion in our hometown like 10 years ago.
In Leechburg?
Yeah, we've had dark times in like once we were like 10 years removed, the town really went to shit.
Once the steel mills started laying people off.
Westmoreland, it seems when you guys were living there, up to 96 was all Democrat. Like half and half kind of.
Yeah.
But now it is going heavy, not heavy, but more Republican.
Leaning red.
It's like 63%.
It makes sense. Westmoreland County's like Greensburg, Blairsville, a lot of farm country.
I mean, you look up the racial makeup of it, it's 95.3% white.
There you go.
Well, to be fair, that's going to be Armstrong County also. Although maybe not, because what has happened in like the last 20 years is, and more so in like the last 10, there's been a major gentrification of like some of the more impoverished areas of, I don't want to call it the inner city because Pittsburgh's kind of not built that way. So like more so the outskirts of the city, the North Shore, like Millville, Lawrenceville, and now the waterfront area. So like, I can't remember. Homestead. Yeah. That entire area has gotten like a major facelift and a lot of gentrification as big businesses like Google, Uber, and all these tech companies kind of come in and create headquarters. So like Millville, for example, they put in a lot of corporate housing. Same thing happened with like the North Shore and the makeover with the stadiums and the casino and all this other stuff, right? So what ends up happening is a lot of that housing previously was like low-income Section 8 housing, and it has to get pushed somewhere. And that's why you see such a massive downfall with a major suburb like Monroeville, the outstanding areas like Wilkinsburg, Penn Hills, all that area. A lot of the impoverished are pushed out there. But I think that that's still all Allegheny County, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Right. So like that's the only place you're going to see the diversity. Allegheny County for PA represents the city limits, so to speak, the greater Pittsburgh area. And then bordering all of that is all the farm country. So that you have Indiana County, Westmoreland County, and Armstrong, which is like where we start to, and Butler County.
Butler, Beaver.
That stuff's all going to skew very, very heavy red.
You know something? I was just thinking. You named like 4 parts of Pittsburgh. Millville, North Shore, 2 more, whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like I rode the scooter throughout all those within like 15 to 20 minutes. Every single part of that.
You were staying with me on the North Shore, so yes, you experienced the North Shore.
Okay.
Millville is maybe like 3 to 5 miles away, but you definitely did not ride the scooter there.
Into Pittsburgh?
No, outside of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no,
so it's like Etna, Millville, like the basically you would have to have taken the scooter on the highway, which you did not do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm confident.
Yeah, you didn't go from the north side to Homestead or to the waterfront on
Definitely,
your scooter.
yeah, you definitely didn't go there. That's a solid like 5 to 10 mile ride, and you would have been weaving.
I know I went through like, I don't know, 5 to 7 parts of the city with different names within like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's all little sections.
It's all little sections.
Like
So like if you cross the bridge, you're immediately in the Strip District or downtown, and they're like divided by the Clemente Bridge. Then, you know, from there, there's a lot of other. Basically, Pittsburgh's weird in the sense that it's not really a traditional city in the sense of like, maybe LA is not the best example to jump to, but like Manhattan, right? You have like uptown, midtown, downtown, whatever. With Pittsburgh, the downtown area is very, very small, and it's not the portion of the city that you would think of when you think of the city. When you think of the city, you think of the you think of like Mellon Arena. You think of, I don't even know if it's called that anymore. It's definitely not called that anymore.
What is
Mellon Arena doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't
What
exist.
was it?
It's
PPG. It might not even be that anymore. But anyway, where the Penguins play.
Oh, okay.
They change the naming rights all the fucking time. But you think of the arena.
Acrisure Stadium.
Yeah, you think of Heinz fucking Field, PNC Park, and those are not considered to be the downtown area, right? Like the downtown area is all businesses. It's the Point. You know, it's like PPG and a lot like Market Square and all these areas where people are just like working and shopping and kind of moving. But it's very small. It's like 4 or 5 city blocks, maybe at the most. Nobody like really truly lives in the city. It's not. Yeah, it's very strange. It's not the way that you think of like a major metropolis, right? Like if you think about Chicago, there's a lot of density to people who just straight live in Chicago, like downtown Chicago. Yeah. Pittsburgh's kind of not that way. You live in all these neighborhoods. Yeah, it's like the best way to call it. And you know, there's a lot of like collections. Like Lawrenceville is Italian, or Little Italy. There's Polish Hill, and
Mr. Rogers lived in the neighborhood.
That's true. Mr. Rogers from Pittsburgh, PA.
Polish
Riveting
Hill.
stuff.
Did you know that, Melissa?
I'm learning a lot.
Mr. fucking Rogers.
Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Won't you be my neighbor? He was. You know where he wanted you to be your neighbors to? Downtown Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And Polish Hill.
In Polish Hill.
I was over growing up on the
Burke, remember the
normal side of Pennsylvania.
remember the Polish Hill game?
I do.
Oh man,
How could I forget?
we were really cutting our teeth.
It's one of the first places I went broke.
Oh, cutting our teeth.
I can't.
You can't say something like that around me.
Why, you have sensitive teeth?
I feel like my teeth just got cut the fuck up or something. Oh, I don't know why.
Do you think we
With a
got
razor
cheated?
blade.
Do you think we got cheated in the Polish Hill game? Do you remember we used to pass cards back and forth like during big all-ins and shit?
Oh, if we listen, the potential to cheat was there.
It was high, and I don't know those guys.
Yeah, no, they were all pretty cool guys.
Yeah,
I
according
don't
to
think,
you, LaManna vouched for him. I went
yeah.
broke.
Pretty cool guy.
I won all the time, so.
Sure.
But no, I don't think so. I think at the time everyone just like loved the sweat and just loved
The only reason I ask is not because I think that they were likely to have cheated us. It's because when you're first starting and you don't know anything, the desire to win kind of supersedes the desire to learn. And if given the opportunity to take unscrupulous angles, like if we're passing cards back and forth
it literally
during
was
all
every
ins,
hand. It's like, well, let me see what you have, and then we just throw your hand to like the guy across the table.
yeah, and it's like the idea that like maybe they kick they kick their friend next to them to not call or something like that. I mean, the temptation is much greater when you're ignorant.
It was very.
I'm pretty sure
it would have been very
there.
easy to do it.
Yeah, and giving into the temptation is a lot easier when you just don't know better.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm pretty sure that was all there. The underneath the like
yeah,
the
for
fucking.
sure.
I don't know. You guys were probably just dealing with that in PA. We had to deal with fucking a whole bunch of Dominicans coming in with a cheating system, a goddamn tape recorder that would read. They'd bring a dealer. They're like, hey, we're lots of action.
So they would bring you?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was the other side.
Just making sure.
So we're like, hey, we're lots of action. We're gonna bring a dealer, and we'll bring 2 or 3 players. Cool. Lock up the 5 and the 8 seat. Cool. Something's wrong here. They fucking guy comes, he has his headphones on, sitting right across from the box, and I guess they had their own deck in the game as well. Because you could literally just read it, the headphones read the cards. Off the top
this
of
is
the
like
box.
this is like that LA home game where
Yes,
the Bluetooth got crossed and suddenly you heard Jack 10 of spades.
Yes, but that is a way later and fucking more advanced technology.
Well, it sounds like it's less fucking reliable, is what it is.
It just got fucked up in the Bluetooth. Sounds like it was fine.
That's fair. That is fair.
That's wild.
So bad day yesterday for the Yinzers adjacent. They're still Yinzers.
Who are Yinzers adjacent?
They're still Yinzers, but
Is that
We
the
need to
Eagles?
retire the word adjacent.
mm,
Getting overused.
It is a bit overused.
look, you guys are overused.
I'm
How about that?
You know what's overused? The Pittsburgh combos.
Is Ohio the Yinzer adjacent?
It's like
No.
0.01%
Only
of our
Youngstown.
audience cares about
Only Youngstown?
this.
They care about us, Melissa. That's why they will
Okay.
indirectly
The
care.
neighborhood
As
Wow.
Berkey and I
Down
both have our
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh shirts on.
Right. Look, this is how you
It was
build
meant
loyalty.
to be. We didn't call each other up and say, hey, gonna wear your 412 shirt.
No, you just know. And
Well, it's easy when that's all you guys wear.
My entire wardrobe for,
that is true. So what may have been a bad day for the boys back home turned into be a good day for a few fellow seniors in New York. It appears
Real good day.
that I almost said strip club, a nursing home in somewhere in New York hired a team of strippers to come in and do a little dance.
Good people, I tell you.
I love the clapping. Offbeat clapping.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
That is
I
wild.
have a heart attack. Is that a live singing? Live person singing?
He's grabbing titties.
I'm glad she's got her mask on. You know, she's got to protect.
Okay,
herself.
so I thought that this was in New York, but it was just run by the New York Post. My apologies. So it was actually in Taiwan. It was the I'm not going to try to pronounce this, Veterans Home, a state-run facility for retired Army personnel in Taiwan.
Love that.
Okay.
Paid the adult
Support the troops.
entertainers for a steamy show to celebrate a mid-autumn festival, an important holiday in Chinese culture, whereby people gather to celebrate the rice and the wheat harvest of the season. Nothing screams harvest season
Like ass and titties.
like a 95-year-old getting a lap dance.
And I think there's it's just a acapella singer.
It sounds that way. It sounded that way for sure. There was definitely a little bit of titty grab in there for sure. And I'm pretty sure she put his hand on her hoo-ha at one point, which God bless them for getting out unscathed. I mean, to be fair, if I'm in that situation and I'm wheelchair bound in my 90s and I die from a heart attack from grabbing a boob, I'm pretty okay with that outcome, I think. But you have to acknowledge there was some risk here on the seniors' home side of it,
Yeah.
right? Like,
they had a
Free up
doctor
some
on staff.
beds, maybe.
I mean, that maybe that was the ploy all along. The nursing home has since apologized, but you know what? For what? Honestly, for what?
Yeah, why? Why are they sorry? It sounds like
Yeah.
it was a great time.
It looked like a party.
Maybe get a speaker with some music next time. I don't know what the fucking lady singing
Apparently they were
acapella
lady
was.
boys.
Wait, what?
Apparently they were lady boys.
Who said that? Why is that funny? I don't understand. What's the joke?
Taiwan.
That's Thailand.
Yeah, it's Thailand.
Oh.
You uncultured ass clown.
Ooh.
They both start with a T. They're both
Yeah,
in Asia.
T-H.
Jeez.
Christ
Hey.
almighty.
Oh man.
All right, so
Moving on.
moving very, very far away from that. I thought the Triton series was wrapping up today, but apparently not. Apparently there's
10 more events.
ton of short deck action. Looks like they're playing, is they 25K or 50K?
50.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Either or. They're playing short deck today. They're also running another short deck event tomorrow where they are trying out the pot limit pre-flop format. This has been discussed. Yeah. So this has been discussed a lot amongst, I guess, the high rollers circuit. I hear a lot of arguments for and against. I see the obvious arguments for, as equities run so insanely close pre that you want to try to add more of a skill element, try to force people to be not all in pre-flop as much as possible, especially like with the big ante format. There's just a lot of jamming that takes place. It's kind of one of those scenarios where it plays a lot of limp pre when you're out of position and a lot of jam pre when you're in position type of stuff. And it also, I think, makes the bubble. This is where I've heard the argument for it the most, is on bubble play. Because the non-chip leading stacks are just at such a massive disadvantage compared to the chip leader that it makes like bubble play slow to a crawl. So there's been a lot of argument for at least considering pot limit pre during bubble play.
Does that cause the equities run so close together?
Yeah, when the equities run that close together, if you're a chip leader, you can just always be all in.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter. You're never you don't have to worry about being.
You're never at an equity disadvantage really, and the amount of equity necessary to call off is
insane. Just
insane.
keep applying the pressure.
Yeah,
knowing that
you just basically pick up free chips because there aren't very many hands that your opposition can look at and just comfortably say like, I'm such a big favorite here that I can torch the bubble. So I think maybe this is an experiment to potentially introduce a hybrid format somewhere down the line. But I am curious because I've also heard a lot of pros basically saying like they don't like the idea of bringing pot limit pre. And my best guess is because the amateurs are probably playing pretty poorly pre-flop as it stands. So they're probably not like limp jamming enough. They're probably not like jamming when limp to enough. And I imagine like a lot of the better players just recognize that they have a ton of edge.
They don't want to neutralize that.
Right. They have those options available to limp jam and to open jam. So they don't want to reduce them. But, you have to kind of think bigger picture. You have to think about the evolution of the game in and of itself, because eventually these wrecks are going to catch on. They're going to see enough jamming taking place that they're somehow going to get a hold of a chart at some point in time. Like,
yeah, I mean, they're probably just not also taking advantage of the bubbles. Like,
Right. Yeah, so for the pros, it's a major advantage to be able to be all in. For the Rex, it's a major disadvantage because they're never calling, and they also don't get to open jam themselves as much because they're just not as aware. But they're also probably like not chip leading in that spot nearly as much either.
Yeah, but when it does happen, it's just
short deck is a fascinating format to me. It's very intriguing because it kind of has the equity distribution element of PLO with the big bet element of no limit. But it seems like the equities diverge a lot more post than in PLO, right? So like your equities, if you hand select, I don't know, call it top like 30% of hands in PLO, the equities are going to run reasonably close. You're not going to have too many major outliers. But when you go post flop, those equities tend to still run relatively close. Just
short decks.
Yeah, just due to the number of cards that you have in your hand, right? Like there's so many combinations. It's hard for like you to hold a hand where you just like straight miss flop.
Yeah.
Right? It's just going to be like the middling rundowns when it comes broadways type of stuff, or Broadway rundowns when it comes low.
You always have some type of piece.
Generally, like, on the aggregate. With short deck though, like the equities seem to diverge a lot more. So you can have a hand like aces or jack 10 suited or whatever that is just above 50% pre, and then kind of just like straight whiff.
Yeah,
like you still just get the king 6-6 board where it's like, well, fuck me, man.
I just have no part of this. What the fuck?
Right. It's like it's the equivalent of like the king deuce deuce board in no limit, where it's just like, okay, well, nobody has a 6 in range, nobody has a deuce in range, like whatever. So they do happen, obviously, like at a lower frequency than you would see regular no limit, but it does create like this fascinating dynamic where it's an action-packed game, and we can kind of like choose where the majority of the action exist based off of how we limit or don't limit the bet sizings, right? So if we make it pot limit pre, now all of a sudden there's potentially a lot of edge to gain post if you become a very intelligent, well-studied post-flop player, right? And now the edge that you derive pre is really insignificant. Like, if you don't know your push-pull charts, like, you probably aren't playing anyway. But even if you are and you don't know them, it's probably not as significant as long as you understand like how to navigate small SPR situations post. So yeah, I'll be interested to see like what the overall feedback is. I imagine like immediately it's going to be negative because it's a new format. So generally we just don't like change.
Right.
Like it wasn't broken. I took all these years to. I mean, short deck's been around for like 5 years, 6 years now. Like I took all these years to finally figure this out. And now you guys are changing the format up on me. But
I wonder whose fucking idea is to take 6 cards out of the deck.
So I actually heard, I don't know how true it is, but the folklore is that it was a Chinese businessman who had been playing for like multiple days.
He just kept getting dealt shitty cards.
Yeah, and he was just like, they were playing massive. This is the story. I don't know how true it is, but like apparently it was a Chinese businessman. They were playing massive, and it was the tail end of like a very long session, and he was just buried to the gills and couldn't take it. So he just removed the 6s through deuces.
That's amazing.
And then I think it evolved from there. Like I think eventually they realized like, oh, okay, well, if we take all those cards out, like flushes become very powerful, full houses occur. Like some nerd sat down and thought of like the actual probabilities of everything occurring. Because the original version of short deck was 6+, which in that version, straights lose to trips, which is. It may make sense from a probability standpoint, like you may make straights more frequently than trips, but the problem with the ranking system of it is that a set can occur on 100% of boards. So what ends up happening is straights become worthless, right? Because like at best they can only bluff catch, and now if you just have a single pair that interacts with the board, you're pretty much incentivized to always be all in if the next best hand that can call is a straight, right? So yeah, it's like if you have top pair on say like a king jack 10 board, you just have a king. You should just always be all in because ace queen pretty much has to like fold if the sizing is large enough because it loses to kings, jacks, 10s, etc. Right? And then it can also just lose to the pair of kings if it runs out another king on board. Right? So that rule had to get changed. So that's a good example of like the evolution, the adaptations that occur. I heard one story of like the Bobby Baldwin group. I heard it from Bob Bright where they had traveled to, I think, London maybe. Okay. And they were playing like with a bunch of the guys from Macau. And they played for 8 hours with a short deck and didn't know it. They were all playing full deck rules.
Oh my God.
Nobody had any, I mean, they don't think anybody had any clue. Obviously like maybe one or two of the guys like,
how could you not know?
Well, you know, it's in that mix they're constantly flip-flopping and playing different games and stuff. But yeah, you would think that like when the game opened they would spread the deck. Yeah. And you would see there's no 2 through 6.
I mean, the dealer knew the whole time. You just hold the deck.
Yeah, when you're holding the deck,
maybe.
No, it's not maybe. There's a lot of cards missing.
No, there's definitely a lot of cards missing.
When you're holding the fucking deck,
yeah, you have to
feel
know.
like half a deck.
You would think that they would be able to see that too. Like the players would be like, "What? Where's the rest of the deck?"
I think they were all. I mean,
they were all so happy.
They were so happy to not see a fucking deuce for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Man,
I'm not gonna say a word. I just keep getting taught all these great hands.
They just keep getting aces and keep getting them cracked. And they're like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Yeah, I've been playing out like since you started that story about the how fucking short deck got started, and I can just like see it in every single home game. That one person that's just stuck balls. The end of the night, game runs around them, and they're just like, "Fuck this shit!" Just take them, start ripping up, 100%, and just start ripping up fucking 3s and 4s, and like, let's play like this.
Eventually, they just like probably start playing with a pinochle deck.
Yeah,
it's just like, all right, first one to get a royal wins all the money. Let's just call it.
And then just like everybody else is like, they're not gonna say
pinochle
anything.
is 9 through ace.
9 through ace or 10 through ace? I can't. I think it's 9 through ace though. Yeah, I think you're correct. Yeah, like straight flush or nothing with that deck.
Oh man,
for sure. But anyway, getting to the Triton series. So yesterday was the today wrapped up the 100K main event, and it was the Limitless show, man. He was really putting on a clinic. There were a few highlight hands that he was involved in leading up to the bubble, but then he played some legit street poker versus what I can only assume was a recreational.
All right. Well, continuation bet coming in. JT insta jam.
Mate.
Not insta raise. It's huge, but Limitless hasn't folded. No way. He's floating with Queen 10 offsuit high.
Yeah, I think he just kind of he's deciding here they're deep enough for him to float in position, and
I think he's thinking that a jack is not supposed to check raise here, and a jack is still reaching for chips. Is he not worried that he's outkicked?
I mean, no wonder he's had the success that he's had.
No way.
No.
He's jammed
not worried
all
he's
in
outkicked.
with
He's getting
Queen
called by
10
Queen high.
This is the sickest play I've seen.
What? Boss move from Limitless on the soft bubble. 16 left. Threll at the start of this hand was 4th in chips.
Yeah.
So could have
He
just
started
kind
the
of
hand with 42 big blinds.
could have just, you know, avoided Limitless and
He started with like 50 blinds actually. Gosh. Check raise flop big. You bet turn. You look pretty strong. He's gotten the jack
Wow.
8 down.
Limitless, you absolute gangster. Take a bow, sir. Just applying max.
This is one of those times where it's such a pity that the recreational just didn't overreact and just like spew jam the turn
Yeah.
and make Limitless look so dumb for floating flop.
You
That's
guys that are better at poker than me, tell me what was going on in Limitless Mind.
Oh, just
right there?
ICM.
It's just, is it, oh, is it
They're
right
on
on
the
the
soft
bubble?
bubble.
Or
They're
is
on
it-
the soft bubble, so like 14 paid or something. 15
Oh, okay.
or 13 maybe.
Okay, I didn't realize what part of the tournament it was. That makes sense.
Yeah, so they're like a few people away from
He's
the
just
money.
playing max pressure, knowing that he can't call it unless he has like a 6.
Well, they're also 1 and 4 in chips to begin with.
And he
So there's
also
like
blocks
16
his
left.
best.
Oh, okay.
Blocks his
Okay.
best calls probably also. Jack
Yeah.
10.
No, there should be zero
he
Jack
shouldn't-
X.
He shouldn't be check raising Jack.
Zero Jack X on a bubble.
Who checked?
He's unblocking hearts. I mean, that's like the only.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should pretty much be like a 6 or nothing.
Yeah.
It was button versus big blind.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You're not trying to play all in.
Yeah.
So you never have like a 1 pair hand where kings just fell to you.
Yeah,
and-
like why are you bloating the pot here with just the jack?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like obviously this guy isn't very ICM aware. There was a hand he played. The way he got all of those chips was a few hands prior with 17 left. It went open with a reasonable hand from like the low jack
We
or high
5 bet
jack.
jammed, right?
Cold 4-bet jammed. Yeah. So it was like open with a reasonable hand. I can't recall what it was. Like maybe ace 9 suit or something like
It was
that.
ace 7 suited
Yeah.
3 bet.
3-bet by ace queen, and then he has 7s in the big blind and just smashes her home for like
I thought he had like ace 4 off or something.
No,
Or was
no,
that a
he-
different hand?
it might have been a different hand.
Okay.
Sorry, it was ace king, not ace queen. So he just like rips for 30, maybe a little bit more, like 5 out of the money, 4 out of the money, in a formation where like you're doing pretty poorly with 7s. First guy like tank folds, and then ace king calls off, and it just comes. It was actually a fun hand. It comes like ace 7x, like ace 7-4, with 1 heart, and he was against ace king of hearts, and the turn is the 4 of hearts.
Oh man.
But nobody recognizes that it gave him a full house. So it's ace 7-4,
Right,
4 with
yeah.
2 hearts,
Yeah.
and then the river's a 10 of hearts.
Oh, man.
So he like went through this emotion of like, I just lost.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, full house, full
Yeah.
house.
That's funny.
The ace would have been
Real dagger. Yeah.
So he cashed.
He actually, yeah. I don't know. I didn't follow up, but I mean, he lost a big chunk of his stack there to Limitless.
Yeah.
That was wild.
That was how many off the money?
2 or 3.
Yeah. Yeah. What is he? Yeah. He should not be playing. That
Well,
way.
I mean, he wanted to see where he was at.
Yeah. He found out.
Respect.
Found out. Well, sort of.
He got lied to.
He did get lied to.
Yeah.
The only problem is he left himself the option to be lied to. If he just jams the turn,
right, exactly.
you can't be lied to
He
anymore.
found out where he was at. He was in the Triton high roller where he shouldn't have been.
Oh man. But yeah, like Limitless was just basically bodying people on the bubble. It seems he came into the final table, I believe, as chip leader, maybe second in chips. So the final table. Pardon my pronunciation if I
Yes.
butcher any of these. I tried to practice
Yes,
before we
go
started, but here
on.
we go. The final table was Punat Punsiri. Oh, I got that right. Back off.
I don't think you did.
Perfect.
Limitless, Wayne Huang, Jason Kuhn, Artem Vezhevkev. Definitely did not get that one right. Gregory Azu. Henry Hecklin. Why can't there be more Henry Hecklins in the
That's
world?
a nice,
Like,
easy one.
he's foreign.
Yep.
What an easy name to get right, you know? Artur Martirsian and Horace Way. I think that it has ended. It's officially ended. There was a huge hand, which seems to have massive ICM implications, but our friend Victor doesn't give a fuck about that. So there was a big flip 3-handed between him and the eventual winner,
Ace King in the
who
small
is Punat
for Malinowski.
Punsiri.
I'm having flashbacks to that Coin Rivet Invitational to 100K.
And what's different here is that Wayne is not one of those micro stacks with 7 blinds where he's got maneuver to move, hang around. So it might change the dynamic of this hand a little bit. Has been waiting to 3. Wow, all in with 10s. Limitless is like, what?
Wow.
Did he just jam 70 blinds?
Just 4-bet rips. Limitless.
Calls.
Looked incredibly
No way.
flustered at the fact that Punsiri just ripped it in.
You have more, right? I think a little bit, by a little bit.
Randy, this is a 140 big blind pot.
Whatever happens
This
is
is
good for you.
a 615,000 pay jump. If Malinowski loses, he'll be down to 225,000. If he wins, Ponce will be out in third.
Punsiri already pointed out, whatever happens is good for Wayne. Jack, 8, couple of hearts. Malinowski does have the King of Hearts in hand. Talk about some of the biggest flips of your tournament career. As the 6 of Hearts rolls off. Malinowski goes from 6 outs to 13. With 1 card to come.
Oh my. Can he get it? Can he hold?
Wow, Randy. Punsiri holds with the 10s. And Malinowski is down to just 1.5 big blinds.
That's super deflating. Pretty tough spot. Honestly, like facing just a 4-bet rip for that much, I know instinctually it feels like it probably has to be a call, but ICM wise, maybe it's just not.
Yeah.
I think that
I don't know. I think
I don't
a
know.
lot of times the Ace King ends up being a call, but I don't know about for 70.
The guy in third had.
For 50, I think it would be, but I don't think it's that much of a difference.
Yeah, it was. Well, I think the biggest difference is not their actual stacks. It's the third player's.
He had like
stack.
10 blinds, right? Or
Yeah.
less.
Oh.
Maybe slightly more, but like he was short.
Mm-hmm.
Once he rips, I think Ace King off is fold.
Yeah, so there's like I think there's like 160 or 170 blinds in play, and they played 140 big blind pot. So I mean, you know, this is for all of it. And as best I could tell, Wayne was relatively short, and I think that the pay jumps between third and second. You heard Randy say it was like 600K, and then I think between first and second is like 8ish, maybe like 850. So you know, it's really how much do you value flipping for effectively 1.4. Well, maybe not exactly. Maybe it's more like the average of. So maybe like 700K total in ICM dollars. But Wayne just like auto prints by being out of the hand.
Oh,
no matter
yeah.
what,
Oh
like
my
one of
God,
these two
yeah.
is going to be eliminated.
Yeah.
He should just always finish third, or not always, but like, you know, a very, very high percentage of time finish third, and then this happens.
When this hand happens, he never finishes third. Next to never. You know, Limitless was left with one blind.
Yeah.
So I guess he could spin it, but
It's the dream when you're in that situation.
yeah, it really is. And the thing is that I don't know that it's necessarily bad on anybody's part. I definitely am not studied enough in ICM to make a comment. But the little bit of work I have done, I know Ace King like is less of a fan of calling off versus jamming. You'd much rather be shoving that hand, particularly because when you're calling off, it's rare that it's Ace Queen when it's for a lot of blinds. So when
Yeah,
it's
but it has to make a difference that you're blocking aces and kings.
well, in a general sense, like ICM removed, absolutely. That's why we call off for heaps when it comes to Ace King. Like in a chip EV spot, he could have jammed
Yeah,
for
but, like,
200
even in
bigs.
ICM, those are the hands that you're afraid of going up against.
Well,
There.
they don't jam,
Yeah.
right? So it's more so that like you're so heavily incentivized to not flip that like if he tables 2 5s and then shoves, you're almost certainly supposed to fold.
Right.
So if that's the case, like yeah, we kind of get fucked, but like you know we 3-bet to 7 blinds and he jammed for 75. We're not exactly giving up a
And
print spot here.
And when you have Ace King, you're on the worst end of the flip too.
Yeah. Like
5 percentage points.
legitimately always, yeah. And if he ever shoves kings, we're getting beyond torched. But again, like I don't know, these ICM spots are relatively nuanced, and it is one of those things where like you do win the tournament when you win this flip. But I would imagine that Limitless probably feels he has a skill edge that at those depths anyway, especially with it being favorable to him, where he and one other is deep, and then you know there's this third person. But I think maybe part of that skill edge is that he just doesn't give a fuck about ICM, right? So he now finds himself in a YOLO spot where it's like, well, I have a really good hand that like never folds for chips, and I'm not going to be that considerate of ICM. Like, it is what it is. Maybe this guy makes a mistake, one of the blue moon, and has ace-5 suited.
Yeah.
You know? Unfortunately for him, he didn't. He had 10s, and he held. He did turn a heap of outs. 2 overs and a flush draw did not come through, so he ended up finishing third. Punet obviously went on to win it for, I believe, 2.7. Oh yeah, 2.6. Okay, so way bigger jumps than I imagined. So it was probably, if I had to guess, like 1.8 to 2 million for second, somewhere in that. Probably like 1.8 for second, and then like 1.1 for third.
It's like
1.2.
extremely top heavy. You're probably more incentivized to take a flip if it's more top heavy, right?
Is it that top heavy? It's a 6 buy-in difference between third and second, and then like a, call it 14 buy-in difference between third and first.
It's pretty top heavy. 20 buy-in difference between
No.
third and first.
No, 14 buy-in difference between third and first.
So only 8
No, you
between
said
second.
14 between.
6 between third and second, and then 14
Okay.
or
so
15 maybe
Okay.
between the whole gap. But yeah, I mean, I don't know enough. I just don't know enough. ICM, look, I said it before, I say it again. It's a fucking myth. Play your goddamn hand.
Just like time.
Play your hand. Fold ace king. It's just a drawing hand. Call with jacks. You haven't dominated. Simple game.
So easy.
Such an easy game.
Yeah.
A read that everybody wants to do. I haven't read it yet, but Pocket Fives just put out an article of Len Ashby. It's a story of him in poker.
He is a tremendous storyteller.
I'm pretty sure it's fucking awesome.
He is an absolutely tremendous storyteller. He's such a fun guy to play with if you've never had the privilege, which is lucky for me because he's a PLO guy by nature, but he does dabble enough in Hold'em that I've gotten to splash with him a bit. He just has a story for everything. The only downside to Len is that he seems to hate dogs.
No way.
Well, he's very anti-dog in casino at a minimum.
Okay. Oh yeah,
Right?
I have seen that. Yeah.
Right. So whether that carries over to him just like not liking dogs at all, I'm not sure. But yeah, he's a complete joy. He's somebody that I think would like make for, at a minimum, a very good podcast guest. But I could see him like being a very good podcast host.
Yeah.
Like he has that little bit of a Southern draw to him. He's very good at storytelling. He's been around the game for decades.
It just seems like he has stories for everything.
Yeah, well, the other thing is like we're less in the know when it comes to the PLO world, right?
Yeah.
So like they just see some shit that we're not privy to in the No Limit world. They get some guys who are rogue gamblers that like kind of stumble into the Bellagio at 2 a.m. looking for a 50-100 game, and you know, a lot gets divulged in those late hours when two men are just gambling for houses. You learn a lot about the world, and more importantly about your gambling counterparts.
Sure.
I wish honestly, my biggest regret I think in my career is not doing a better job of documenting that like 7-year window where I was playing behind glass, because even though maybe I wouldn't be able to talk about it all that much, I wish I had better recollection of the sheer detail and the timeline of like shit that happened, because man, looking back, it's wild.
Yeah. Like
halfway through it, there's just this sting operation at Caesars where a bunch of like Chinese VIPs are removed from the country, and like you know, they have these charges levied against them for running an illegal book, and like this wild stuff. Like this is like,
Forgot all about that. That's wild.
at a minimum, this is national news, but it like might be borderline like world news. And we're just like in there shooting the shit about like, yeah, did you hear Paul got busted in the Caesars Villa? Yeah. Apparently he was just taking billions of dollars worth of action on the soccer matches. Like they didn't like that.
it's funny.
Like it was a fucking full-blown FBI sting, you know? It's just like so much of that stuff was lost in casual conversation, where when you're in it, you don't realize how close to it all you are. And then like when you're removed from it and you're kind of back at a pedestrian level, it's like, Jesus.
Especially like you probably get sort of numb to the dollar amount too.
Yeah.
Like so to the layman, that's just an insane amount of money.
Yeah.
But you guys are, it's just
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah, no, that's just, it's Paul on a Saturday. Like, we're not even sure he was doing anything illegal. We're just like, this guy's kind of just a DJ. I think he just wanted more action, you know? Like, maybe you guys should check this with the Bureau. I'm not positive, you know? And then it's like he hired Tom Goldstein as his lawyer, which, again, like, you're just too close to. You don't realize that this guy's the lawyer of the stars. Yeah. Like, he was Kardashian's, I think he was Kardashian's lawyer. Don't quote me on that, but like he was Rick Solomon's lawyer with the Pamela Lee sex tape and everything else. This guy's like famous as a lawyer, and like he's just a whale. Guy's just rich and punts. Like, we don't think of him any other way. Everybody gets kind of stripped down to the common denominator of, we're here to gamble in a game. Yep. And like who you are outside of those four walls is only relevant to the casual conversation that's kind of spread. Yeah. You know? And it really is like not just casual conversation, but fucking small talk. Like, oh, Tom, how's the wife? How's the kids? How's the practice? And it's like, it's good. You know, I got this $1 billion suit with this celebrity. Yeah, is that good? That's good. I'm sure that's going to be nice for you. Yeah, it's going to be great. I'll be back in here, guys. It's like, all right, cool. And then that's it. And then like a month later, you pick up a tabloid and it's like he's there, like walking some famous celeb out of court. And we're just like, what is my life? This is also very strange. Yeah. But yeah, I would be excited to talk with Len. I'm not super close with him. I've only played with him a handful of times, but maybe I'll reach out if we can ever find a spin into PLO. I think we could lure him in. Him and Josh Arya, I think, would be like the best duo to just like start a pod. Okay. Like they've been gambling for a long time. Josh has that cool that cool alias of Mr. A. You know, he's just out there always looking for a new gamble, for a new hustle, and like Len's kind of the same. They've been in the mixed game streets, the PLO streets. Like, I think they probably have stories for fucking days.
I'm sure.
Most of which probably revolve around Keith Lear.
My man.
Yo, did he-
I fucking love him.
Did he pop his fake eye out when he was on the feature table?
No, because I would have died.
He didn't do it?
No, I would have lost it.
I can't believe he was on TV and then pop his fake eye out.
I would have fucking lost it.
He loves this bit.
I would
I've
have.
seen him use it as a
Everyone likes a good party
I've
trick.
seen him use it as like a card protector.
How didn't it roll away? You just roll right off the
I
card.
would have fucking lost it if
Seems
he popped it out
unsanitary.
sitting next to me.
I want to see him like start using it as a randomizer. Like he just puts his eye on his thumb and flips it.
That's true. You put your fake eye on the cards that's been passed around, and then you stick it back in your eye socket.
I mean, I'm sure he has like an alcohol wipe or something. I
hopefully.
don't know, man. A lot of
Clean that thing up.
a lot of parlor tricks with the fake eye.
Speaking about PLO, shout out to Soeb.
Yeah, Sohab shipped the bracelet event yesterday.
Yeah.
It was 1K PLO re-entry. I think he won it for like 53,000.
Yep, something like that.
Nice.
It's always nice to see the regs out there getting it done.
Yep.
Especially the ones that just
Yeah, we got to give bracelet up there. We're in the middle of
I
the
know.
World Series of
There's
Poker
been,
right
it's
now.
all been Triton. We're not even wrapping the home series
Well,
online.
I got to tell you, I love
I've soft
WSOP.
bubbled both that I played.
Which ones did you play? The 504?
Yeah,
Okay, that's unfortunate.
like 10 from the money.
Yeah, that's I would consider that softball.
Yeah.
Those are big fields.
We'll talk about my win in the
long
Tortoise
bubbles.
Invitational on Monday.
Tortoise is like
I heard
racking up a balance. On WSOP. He's ready to fire.
I got a tweet today that said they changed the payout structure of the $55 one because
of me?
you.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, everyone.
What did you do?
I don't
keep
know, but the
winning it.
payout structure looked really bad. It was
Just
it was
winning.
like it was like a $9 pay jump between like 15th and 13th, and then like a $12 pay jump from 13th to 9th.
Is this the one Jared
It's-
had? Oh,
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jay Smith.
there's just-
essentially, how all these tournaments, these $20 to $50 buy-in tournaments on WSOP, when they changed it, it's like you cash for like 1.5 buy-in essentially, and usually you cash between like 36 and 24 people left,
Yeah.
and then there's like not a pay jump until 9th. I mean, there's like a very small.
So
It's
they
all
make
like
so they
pennies.
make it bottom heavy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very bottom heavy event.
Actually, yes.
Wow.
So it's just like, okay, you make the money, and then there's like no ICM.
So you're out there playing the Burley Bottom Invitational.
I'm out there trying to accumulate chips.
Well, man, it gets
between
fucked when it gets-
24 and
God,
9.
that's like the worst fucking structure because for people like me who, you know, for better or for worse, would love to ignore ICM, it's a lot harder to do when it's like, you know, 1.5 or 2 full buy-ins to cash, right? Because like now the difference between 0 and 2 buy-ins is a fucking lot.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then
I mean, they're like RNAs, like they're the cubed ones, so it's sort of like not. It looks like it's way more buy-ins for min cash than it is.
Right.
Well, it's
But-
funny because ICM wouldn't really exist between 24 and 9 now.
Well, no, now it's gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
because- so it
Now you
means
literally
something
have-
free,
yeah,
and
you
then
have-
means
Yeah.
nothing.
No ICM again until the final total. So actually, maybe
Well,
that's a
no,
good
Yeah,
exchange.
that's
It
good
is.
for you.
It
Actually.
is.
I only have to play ICM on the bubble and on the final
just-
table.
It
Brief
actually is.
period, and then you're free,
And-
and then another brief
Yeah.
period.
It moves
and-
pretty quick too, from
gestation
cashing
period, if
to
you
final
will.
table.
And it's
Right.
actually
Great,
better
right?
for you because you accumulate chips where ICM
Yeah.
means nothing.
Yeah.
Where other
There's-
people are like,
There's
you
no
know.
stalling, like from all the way down,
Right.
because there's no pay.
It's kind of like sex, you know, you bust on the bubble and then you have this gestation period and then you bring it right back for the final table. That's how that works, right?
If you're a woman, maybe.
No, if you're a guy, you just need that break, you know,
Yeah.
and then we go round 2 with 9 left.
9 left.
All right. You got nine some.
I was talking about the final table. But difficult enough to please one woman. I can't imagine pleasing 9.
Yeah.
in that regard, I
you'd probably
agree
get
with you.
pushed out of that equation.
Oh,
to be
for sure.
honest.
It'd be like
They'd
the scene in-
This guy's useless.
It'd be like the scene in Friends where Ross had a threesome with his wife, and Joey's like, pretty nice. He's like, yeah. He's like, you get a little bored? He's like, yeah. At one point, I made a sandwich.
Yeah, my girl sent me something today on fucking Instagram. It says, my girlfriend texts me, my wife called and asked if I was cool with a threesome. I said, hell yeah. Hold on. I don't want to get this
Oh
wrong.
my God.
Hold on.
Come on.
No.
So she had one and came home. I didn't want to ruin the word.
Well,
You ruined it
timing.
I know,
by
I had to-
stopping in the middle.
Your
I had to
comedic
wait for it to
timing
pop up.
Hold on, I don't want to ruin this while you're ruining it.
Comedic timing is very critical, Conrad. We need you to work on this, man.
We'll figure it out.
Just practice it or something.
The problem is that he is both the audience and the deliverer in this instance, right? He starts laughing he preemptively laughs at the punchline, which doesn't allow him to get the punchline out. And then on top of that, he's trying to read something where all the words are spelled correctly, so it's a struggle.
no
LMA9
symbols in there. LMA9.
What is happening
bracket,
here?
Star. Pound sign.
Pound sign.
Well, I did get someone who's potentially interested in being my date on the podcast.
Oh, go on.
This poor human.
He just said, well, I have in my Hinge now, let me know. The prompt is, you should let me know. And I say, you should let me know if you would like to have our first date live on my podcast. And they said, well, what's the podcast? So.
Are you exchanging messages?
No, I haven't.
Are you interested?
For the podcast
Oh,
sake.
no, you can't do it for content.
I know, that's
too
the thing
brutal.
is I can't, he seems like he would be a good match for Landon. He loves anime. But it's not really my style.
Landon literally, as you mentioned that, sends me a link that just says, holy shit, it sounds like Tinder heard our plea. What do you think of Sienna? And I click on this profile and it's just like, he very clearly has a type.
Yes.
It's becoming quite apparent to me.
His type
Big titty,
is
blue hair
he
anime.
wants his heart broken.
Yeah. That's facts.
The type who will chew him up and spit him out and then move on to the next.
Yeah,
That
I
is
mean,
his type.
if please let me be able to zoom on this. Damn it. Well, it's not going to do it justice because you guys are looking from very far away, but all you need to know is that girl is on all fours in a thong on a car. This is his type, and look, I respect it.
It's kind of logically doesn't make a ton of sense.
No, because not only is he, like, that's not really what he wants.
Right, because he talks
just what
about
he
why can't they
fantasizes
just be
over.
wholesome? I just want a wholesome girl. I'm like, well,
Right, like he wants his mom.
right, but then the girls are, they're wearing chains and straps.
He only seems to be attracted to OnlyFans girls.
Yeah. Like hardcore only, not just like a girl next door type OnlyFans account. This is like,
Well, are those?
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, maybe.
MILF ones. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's those.
It reminds me of the movie The Girl Next Door. I can't remember who the lead actress was, but she was like a low-key porn star.
Was it
Tara
Reid? No.
No,
it's,
but-
Someone like that, blonde.
Is it the one that died?
no, that's Brittany
Brittany.
Murphy.
Yeah, that's what I was
She was
thinking.
great.
She played Jack Bauer's daughter in 24.
Yes.
Oh my God, her name just escaped me too.
Yeah, I can't think of her name. But the other thing I wonder if he understands, and
Kim, Billy Bauer, Alicia Kubert.
Cuthbert.
Cuthbert.
Cuthbert,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cuthbert, yep.
Yeah, we see. He just like leaves the letters out.
He's like, those letters shouldn't be there. It must be a typo.
this isn't Conrad speak at all. The other thing I wonder if Landon understands is when he sends me these links, it gives me the option to swipe right on these girls.
Oh shit!
He's just creating competition.
Wow.
Man.
Like, bro, get the match first.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, he tells us he's not. I don't look at Tinder. Come on now.
I mean,
he's
I know he does because
We have the email.
Yeah, it's linked. His account is created through the Solve for Why business
Wow.
email.
It is?
Yeah, so every time he gets a match or sends a message, we get an email saying like,
Wait,
you have a match waiting.
I've never seen this.
Does
It's
it
the
tell
Gmail.
you what his
Gmail.
messages
Oh,
are? Or no.
No.
Okay, I was like, that would be too.
No,
much.
and if he's smart, he's changed his password.
Why?
But
Is,
we did it as a bit for the
Yeah,
for the
we
show.
set it up on the show.
So I'll wake
we
up.
did?
Yeah,
It was just us, right? And
Oh, I
Landon.
wasn't here.
I think so. Yeah.
I wake
Yeah.
up in the morning and I look at my phone and I see the Solve for Why Gmail and I'm like, you have a new message on Tinder? I'm like, what the fuck?
Holy shit! I think I just found my wife.
He He said that?
No, I think I
you did.
I swiped right on the
I
girl
think
that
he
he
said
said.
that.
I hear
like
this
6
every.
times
I
in the last
know. I
24
literally,
hours.
it's multiple
Yeah, no, he
times a
does,
day, right?
Yeah.
Just listen, okay? I only get hotter and weirder as I grow older. She's 30. And then it says, originally from Pittsburgh, so Steelers, Bucks, and Pens.
Oh.
Black and gold, heart.
Let me
Let's
see,
go.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my goodness, she's naked.
Oh, we grew up in that way back home.
She's cute.
She's in a Rolls Royce.
Oh yeah. Swipe right.
Swipe right.
That's a hard right.
He's from
Hard right.
Vegas, though?
What up, Chelsea? If you're watching.
Hey Chelsea. So that's the thing though about
She lives in Vegas.
finding someone to go on a date with on the podcast. I want to do it for content. I don't really want it to be someone I actually like though.
There's an easy solution to this. Go on your bisexual dates on the podcast.
My first ever date with a woman should be on the podcast.
It's a great way to become friends and acknowledge the weirdness of it all. Because it's going to be weird for you anyway.
Yeah, it is.
So you may as well just lean in, you know?
That's the thing I'm realizing. I don't know how to like flirt with a woman.
Me either.
Like, because I'm just like, oh my God, like, hey girl, you nice top. Like, because that's just like, I don't think I'm gay, but like, I just am over men right now. So I'm like trying.
Oh, right.
But I'm just like, okay, she's like cute. I would like to be, like, we could be friends. But then I'm like, wait, this is like a dating thing. Okay, so like, hey, hot tits. Like, what am I supposed to say to a woman? What do you say to a woman?
What are you asking us for?
Yeah.
You guys do this
What
normally.
would you want a
Not
woman to say
well.
to you?
Hey, hot tits. I don't fucking know.
There you go.
I don't know.
I have to tell you, your confusion right now is...
What you guys feel?
Yes, it's precisely born out of the fact that you have a partial male brain. Like you are suffering the same hurdles that we suffer, where it's like, obviously all we want to hear is, hey,
Nice dick.
Yeah, like
Hey, show me your dick.
Exactly. Precisely. That's the exact lead we want from
Right.
every single girl. And so like now you're thinking, you're just projecting that
I
out.
actually
You're like,
did do that. I matched with someone. Well, granted, I knew them in person, but I said, hey, take the pants off.
yeah.
This, but without the pants.
Right. So like you match with a girl and you just start projecting out like, well, what would I want her to say to me? It's like, hey, nice dick.
Well, and then they'll have in their profile like no hookups, like no sexual.
Oh, that's such a red flag
I'm
for
just
that
like,
they want
okay,
to hook
well then,
up.
like, what am I supposed to say? Like, where do you get your hair done? Like, what am I supposed to say?
I don't know. Maybe hi.
Yeah, and then
lead
what?
with that. Wherever it goes. Small talk's the fucking worst. Nobody likes it, but it's a necessary evil in these things.
Like, guys are easy because you can just be like,
Just
let's
send an
go
emoji.
here
You could
tomorrow.
you could literally just send an emoji.
Hey, come over or something.
Sure. Yes.
It's just very simple. But a girl's like,
Well, it's simple, but you don't get the result you want because it's simple.
well, yeah.
We're
Yeah.
simpletons. Also, I think that's what Landon was referencing when he said, I think Tinder heard our pleas, because all we were talking about after you had inundated the chat with all of your female matches is
They're
how,
really, really pretty.
listen, lesbian hinge is in,
Yeah.
it's off the
They're
chain.
really like,
It's a side
they're
of Vegas.
solid 10s.
It's a side of Vegas I haven't seen. Like every single girl that you put in that chat is significantly
They're all like that. Like
more
when
attractive.
I'm literally swiping, they're all like that.
Yeah, and let me tell you, straight hinge is not like that.
Yeah,
At all.
straight hinge for me is not like that either.
Right? See, you understand when when you're looking
Are straight
for.
people just ugly?
I think so. I think we finally arrived to the solution here. All you normies,
Wow.
myself included.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a landmine out there. You know, you just gotta try some shit. Maybe you gotta go on 100 first dates
With women?
with anyone.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta make the pact to. And
God.
yeah, exactly. You'll really stop sleeping with people whenever you realize how exhausting it is to spend any amount of time
Well,
with
that's
them.
the thing is like that. I think it's just why I, stick on to one person, because I hate the beginning thing. I hate going out. I gotta meet this person who could murder me.
Isn't that supposed to be the best part?
No, it's not. The best part is when you're comfortable enough to like pick each other's asses.
Oh, that sounds like when I would run.
The best part is like when you.
That's like peak, get me out of
are
here.
Super comfortable with each other. The worst part is trying to figure out, choose someone, figure out like if this person's okay or not.
We have very opposite problems.
Yeah.
Very. Because someone picking my ass would be an absolute
You don't want
deal
someone
breaker.
picking bugs out of your ass?
Nope. Honestly, I actually loathe that in other women. Jenna, who we've had on a few times.
She's a
groomer.
Yeah, me too. Hardcore.
She very much is like super maternal, and it's always, what can I do for you? Can I help? And it's like, problems that like I'm barely qualified to answer, but they're my niche, right? So like maybe I have a poker problem, for instance, and she'll be like, how can I help? And it's like, you've never been dealt a hand.
She's trying to help.
Yeah, but
that's not how I'm not like that. I'm groomer like, oh, you have a pimple. Sit down. Shut up. It doesn't hurt that bad.
No, it just extends out of that though, right? Then it's always let me get that. The wipe your mouth and the
No, mine's
comb
like
your hair.
full on like I get my tool set out, I have my flashlight on, and I'm just like going to town.
Yeah, but you're just twisted.
I'm practicing my surgery.
Yeah. You're the next pimple popper.
Exactly. I've seen too many of the videos. I need to try it.
Those people have PhDs.
Well, yeah, but basically I do too by osmosis.
Medical degrees.
Yeah, PhD. MD.
No,
PhD in MD?
I've watched so many that I too have that now.
Well, no, that's not
just
how
not
it works.
officially.
Do you think it'll ever get to that point where universities go by the wayside to the point where it's like you can say like, yes, I'd like to be a doctor, and to demonstrate that I'm capable, I've watched
me excise this cyst.
Right, like
God,
I've watched 2,000 hours of YouTube.
Look at my YouTube history and
what it
watch me
comes to.
excise the cyst, and you'll give
I want all my doctors, all my medical professions to be well educated with years and years.
I've been
practice
watching
and
these videos for
experience
years, Brian.
That'll obviously
Jesus.
never happen, right? Because it will just be a robot that is taking over.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
I'm
I
okay
imagine
with that.
I imagine if you read enough WebMD, you could basically diagnose people with cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Come on, Guapo.
Oh, yeah. That's
Get
a good
this
one.
shit the fuck out of here. Nobody.
Oh, yes.
Our numbers just dropped. We just saw 100 people leave.
Nope.
Literally 100
Wow,
people just left.
blackhead beauty. Look at the hair behind it. Just some hair.
Oh, this is disgusting.
That's a fucking big ass pin.
Yeah, that's big.
I
You
use
can't use it. See, that's something you don't want to use a needle for. You want a scalpel for that.
You know, when this first became a thing, I was like, oh, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
And now I'm like finding myself watching episode after episode of Dr. Pimple
You like
Popper.
it?
Yeah, it's so fascinating.
It's really good.
Right.
Well, and then you get into like other sort of more niche branches, which is when it gets a little dangerous because you're looking at, it's sort of like when you watch porn and you get desensitized to it, so you start looking at weirder and weirder stuff. So now I'm
This
on
hasn't happened to me.
Okay, well, whatever. Not me either. I'm just,
Yuck or yum.
me either. I mean, I just heard that happens. But I will do it with this stuff, and I watch ingrown toenail removal.
Oh, see,
where
that.
they stick a tool underneath the nail.
I see. I
They
can't.
separate
Gross.
it, then they cut it and they rip it out. It's like so good.
That's
it's not
cringeworthy.
good.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, no, that's really
That is so disgusting.
it's cathartic, really.
I watch them before bed.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Sweet dreams.
It's relaxing.
How is
Oh
that
my
relaxing?
I don't know.
Relaxing?
Relaxes me.
I love that the audience like sees you here day in and day out, and they view this like very small,
Yeah.
kind of like nice and sweet girl
I'm demented.
who like speaks about shit that's disgusting, but does it with soft tones and like can kind of get it across of like, but I'm so innocent type. I hear you in the gym raging, just raging. I'm envisioning like it's
I'm
like.
loud in the gym, yeah.
It's like Slayer on full blast with weights clanging onto the ground. I'm envisioning like a 325-pound Russian man in there, like the Street Fighter Zangief,
Yeah.
like with the just big patch of chest hair and wearing short
That's how I
shorts
feel
while
in the gym.
deadlifting. I'm
Looking
sure
sharp.
it is.
That's how I feel. Well, you
Yeah.
gotta dig deep, you know?
Like I always just assume it's Landon who's angry for the day, and then I like peer my head in and I see it's her, or I notice Rudy's like laying by the door. I'm like, that's fucking Melissa, and I just imagine her like
It's the hip thrusts, like those. I feel my ass ripping apart.
right, sure. I envision you in there like beer bonging a protein shake. Wow.
Just pouring it all over my head.
Yeah. while just like tearing your shirt off, revealing only a sports bra so that you can power clean.
Yeah.
Just like, what is happening? She's like shitting in the corner, throwing up after squatting max reps as possible.
Yeah.
You gotta bring it.
Gotta dig deep.
Gotta bring it.
Imagine if she ever met Eugene. I think that would just be such a hit. Yeah, he would have just had her on leg day every day.
Yep.
Just walk into the gym. What do we do today, Eugene? Many reps as possible.
Let's go.
And then he tells you the story of how.
That's what I do with leg day every day.
Yeah.
I throw some arms in. I mean, I'll throw a little, military press.
Once a month, they would do like as many reps as possible, and they would like just max out on like leg press, squats, like whatever, and they're just like repping whatever. And every single time they did it, it was like once a month. It was him and this like small collective of guys. Every single time they did it, he'd be like, there's one time in college when I was lifting for track, we did as many reps as possible on the leg press machine, and I passed out and shit myself. I was like, that story got repeated every month. We're like, we know Eugene.
I have
like,
sharded from lifting.
He was an all-American shot
putter. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was built like a fucking shot putter.
Yeah. Well, I showed you guys the text that my brother sent me. He told the guy he works out with, some guy who deadlifts 700 pounds or whatever, that I said straps were for bitches. Someone told me, people like to give me unsolicited advice.
Sure.
When I post workout stuff. Someone told me to get straps, and I said, fuck a strap. Those are for guys who want their hands to be soft for giving hand jobs.
I do not want to give hand jobs. I just want my hands to be soft.
My brother told
Exhibit
this guy.
A.
Yeah,
Right.
This guy gets more manicures than I do.
My hands are pretty.
He told this guy that, and he said, that's your sister's wife material. And I'm like, that's the first time anyone's ever said that about me.
Yeah, and understandably so. You're quite off-putting.
I would love to have myself as a wife.
More like as a husband.
Yeah. Yes, the male version of me, come through.
I don't know if there's an alpha out there that can handle you. I honestly.
That's how you know, though. Like if they can and they can get me to submit, they are truly alpha.
Honestly, I think that what you're gonna end up with is a dude who likes getting choked in bed rather than somebody who can handle you.
This is what I've had.
Sure.
I'm end up being, the.
Yeah. No. I get it. Look, I get it.
But all I want is that guy who just is a step above that, just super fucking alpha.
Okay, so Andrew Tate, if you're out there.
No, he's not alpha. Do you see the way he walks? He's got his arms swinging in the wind. Come on, that's not what I mean.
He's fake alpha.
He's fake alpha. I don't want. That's not going to work because they have to be alpha enough to, get me to submit to them.
Honestly, I think you should probably just be looking to date former Alone members. I mean, these guys are gangsters as fuck.
After they gain their weight back.
Oh yeah, and are now $1 million richer.
They're kind of weird.
Of course they're weird. They lived on an island for 90 days alone. They're gonna be weird. But
I need a guy like the guy you guys send, that bearded bodybuilding guy.
Oh, Zangief? Yeah, or Eugene, whatever. They're all the same.
Yeah.
They're all 6'6", 385 pounds.
Let's go.
What are you?
What am I gonna do with that? I know I'm gonna literally if I have a baby with someone like that, I'm gonna need to be cut open.
Yeah, you're gonna be a pet.
It's not gonna work logistically. Yeah, look at the way he walks.
Why is it
Come
always,
on.
Why is it
Look
always,
at this. This is
yeah, that walk is definitely.
look at that. Come on. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work.
That walk is a little sus. Why is it always the smallest little packages that are yearning after the most ridiculous extremes?
Because it's short. Because we have Napoleon syndromes. Us short girls, we're all like this. We're all super fucking aggro for no reason. Because we're just like, don't push me around.
Yeah, I do have an affinity for short girls, but I think it's because I grew up in a mostly Italian culture. So 5'6" is like tall. Lamanna's mom's, I think, like
4'11",
4'9".
Yeah.
4'11". Her sister is, one of her sisters is 4'10", which she might be like 4'9" now.
They shrink.
She's crossing into legal dwarf territory.
I think my grandma
little person. I don't know what the fuck is the proper. It was dwarf was okay to say. Now I guess that's not okay.
My grandma, by the time she reached the end of her life, she was probably about 4 or 5.
Oh my god,
kept
that's
getting
gonna be
smaller
me.
and smaller and
I'm gonna
smaller
be
and
like a
smaller.
tiny raisin.
Oh man.
I just posted something in our chat, but it seems that in Illinois, non-detainable.
There's no noise in Illinois.
In Illinois.
They're doing
Good
some
one.
type of bail reform where
Scruff, McGruff, Chicago, Illinois, 60652.
That was coming.
they're doing some type of bail reform that non-detainable. These are non-detainable offenses beginning in January: aggravated battery, aggravated DUI, aggravated fleeing, arson, burglary, drug-induced homicide, intimidation, kidnapping, robbery, second-degree murder, and threatening a public official. Am I fucking crazy, or does that sound like some detainable offenses?
I've heard.
It's a few of them.
I've seen this passed around the internet. I don't know how much of it's true, so I haven't given it a lot of thought or acknowledgement because some of that seems extreme.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's propaganda. I feel like it's just a lot of the right potentially pushing a message saying like Illinois is getting soft or whatever. But yeah, who knows? I mean, one thing I'm certain of is there's more nuance to it than the list you just read, right? Like there.
I mean, I would hope so.
I can't imagine there are people just out there committing second-degree murder and walking the streets. But hey, who knows, man? We're in a weird timeline these days.
Usually what happens is something needs to change and then they take it too far to the
Right.
extreme. Like I know that I just saw this just happened in New York where they're like chasing these kids who are jumping the turnstiles for the subway, and they're just like chasing them down, like the cops are chasing them down.
You'll get
And
fucked
one
up for that.
kid was running away, and he tried to he jumped onto the track.
Oh
and
no.
Jesus.
got hit by a train and died. And it's like not the first time this has happened. They're like saying like, stop chasing. Like it's $2 that you're trying to chase them down for, and then they're getting killed. Like
Right.
there has to be a better way.
Yeah. Also, just the cost of.
Yeah, I know several
Trying to
people
police
who have
that.
gotten chased down for jumping turnstiles.
Yeah,
It's always a sweat. I've done
Right.
it a couple of times.
yeah.
Don't arrest me. Someone, just my friend did it.
The statute of limitations is up. You're fine.
Oh, okay.
There's a real love connection happening in our chat. Christian's DR Mamacita says, I miss Christian. And Christian replies, I miss you too.
Oh, here we go.
See, she's not about this simpy shit. Immediately, Melissa's just cringing. She's like, I don't
No,
want.
I'm cringing not because it's simpy, because I know Chin. And he's just a fuck boy.
This is what happens when you don't come on the show. You
Can't
get
defend
burned.
yourself.
Yeah.
That's true. All right, that's going to wrap it for us today. It seems like a high note to go out on. We'll be back tomorrow. It's tomorrow Thursday, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll be back tomorrow. I won't be here Friday. I'm playing live at the bike. I think 2550, 100 or 2550. I'm not sure, man. I'm just showing up and playing.
Should you tell people the news?
What's the news?
The new academy date.
Oh, no. We'll get to it. I don't have a graphic yet or anything relevant, but yeah,
Just go to the website. You'll
go
see
to the
it.
website if you guys are interested in the academy. We'll get some shit out to you in the next week or so. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. As always, please like, comment, leave or subscribe. Leave a comment below. Let us know if you're that guy who maybe Melissa's looking for.
Yes.
You know, do you want to be interviewed on the podcast as a potential suiter? I'm just saying, you got to really bring it.
Gotta bring it.
You got 5
You
papas
better
here.
be
You like
grunting
having-
in the gym.
And like having your pimples popped.
Pounding creatine. Your blood better be 70% creatine.
We just need to introduce her to Robert Frank.
Yeah.
Well, you know
Yeah.
what? If they're on steroids, they'll have a bunch of pimples to pop.
That's
but
true.
they'll have their balls will be sucked into their fucking body
That's okay.
cavity.
What do you do with balls anyway?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it looks weird.
They're
It
ornaments
looks
to
weird.
a Christmas tree.
Yeah, I guess you're right. All right.
All right, we're out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Peace.
Right.